Your pain has purpose. Yet oftentimes we don't understand why we are going through the pain. See, you going through the pain is helping you realize that you need to learn how to be confident and handle adversity. See, I had to learn pain was the worst thing I ever experienced because my divorce forced me to identify my purpose. And when I identify my purpose, I began to understand everybody has pain. However, multiple people don't understand pain is necessary because we learn our best lessons during our hardest times, during our most difficult times that we have ever experienced. Yet, how do we focus on the goal in healing and finding ourselves when finding ourselves was never the goal to begin with? See, your pain has purpose because it's helping you identify more about yourself. Even though we think we know who we are, the pain opens the door to a unique identity. And yet the unique identity only get discovered after a hard time. The best thing that can ever happen is for us to go through the pain and recognize we are not alone. I often had questions. Why me? Why did I have to go through this pain? What did I do that was so bad that caused me to have my heart broken? What did I do that led me in this hard, rough situation? It wasn't the fact that I did anything. It was that I needed to go through that to learn that adversity, that hard times is going to come, whether I'm prepared for it and or if I understand what's being presented to me. Not only to me, but for me. See, we have to recognize which is which. What does happening to you means rather than for you. See, we diving deep today. Listen, what's going on, everybody? My name is Terryl with the Humphrey, and welcome to another conversation, another light talk at Failure is Knowledge. Before we dive into the topic on how pain becomes your purpose, make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you leave a like and wait towards the end to leave a comment on how impactful your pain will become. See, I'm able to speak about my pain because I had to go through the process of healing. Not knowing that me healing was going to be so difficult and so drastic and so overwhelming that I had to take it day by day. See, I believe my dad not being in my life played a factor because that's when I began to identify that I had abandonment issues. Not only abandonment issues, but I was blaming myself for him not being in our lives. And I've learned, why am I blaming myself for someone else's action? I just have to forgive myself in order to start growing and healing. And see, as I'm forgiving myself, I wasn't so hard on myself. As I began to forgive myself, I wasn't as hard on me as I normally used to be. I wasn't as hard on myself as I normally was because I understood I have to understand what I did. And even though my dad wasn't in my life, I know my dad, know of my dad. My dad wasn't in my life. I didn't understand how this played a factor. I didn't know me becoming a man was going to happen from my pain. Me finding my purpose came after I healed. See, me realizing that going through time and recognizing that time is all that we have. What's the rush to get over your pain? What's the rush to get over what's been on your mind for so long? See, my feelings was hurt because my dad went in my life. Yet it got brought to light when I asked my ex-wife for a divorce. Now just imagine this one emotion that I was holding on to for my entire life, all the way up to 24, until I recognized that I couldn't do nothing about the past. I can't change what has already happened. Moreover, I can prepare for what's about to come. See, that's what's happening when we go through pain. You have to prepare for adversity when we have never faced the unknown. See, the unknown is so scary because we don't have faith in ourselves and our abilities and everything that's around us to keep pushing us forward, right? So now as we pushing forward and learning what faith and time and pain and purpose and healing it is so much to handle. We begin to quit along the journey. Now, quitting is easy because all you have to do is just stop doing what you were doing. All you have to stop doing is stop doing what you were currently doing in order to change your life. And it's so difficult because how do you prepare and have the mental discipline to keep pushing forward when forward is so in disguise? And it's so in disguise because this is something we have never done before. Once we get out of our comfort zone becomes the next step. Our comfort zone becomes us believing the step that we're taking is the step that's going to help us later on in life. And I had to learn your actions today is preparing you for your future. Your actions today is helping you build your confidence over time. What does that mean? To rail with the why, what does that even mean? We have to put effort into ourselves in order to change what we have went through. How many times do you need to go through a hard time to recognize this hard time was teaching you a lesson at the time that it was presented? How do you understand what was presented when we don't even understand ourselves? And even though we don't understand ourselves, that doesn't give us an excuse to quit along the journey. See, quitting wasn't an option for me. It wasn't an option. I didn't even think about quitting along the correction. It sounded good, didn't it? It sounded good, but I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I thought about quitting multiple times along the journey because I was doing the work. I was being consistent. Yet consistent wasn't showing no results. At least that's what I thought. At least that's what I thought I understood, thought I learned. However, me imagining what this success was taught me and prepared me to not quit. Even though it was hard, yet it was difficult. And it was overwhelming. It forced me to take it day by day, step by step. As I'm taking it step by step, I'm no longer identifying that I cannot do this. As I became to understand the thought of me not doing it was the process of me not trying to put effort into myself. I remember when I was playing football, effort has to be placed on the field each and every day. Effort, you have to try to be better. You have to try to lift weights. You have to try to be uncomfortable. Now when I lift weights and I try to lift heavy, when it get heavy, I just stop because I don't have nobody there to spot me. See, in football, we can lift heavy because we have people around us to push us. Even though I don't have nobody to push me when I'm in the gym, I still push as much as I can. See, we have to understand what's in us today has been prepared our whole entire lives. See, your pain is your purpose because you've been doing what you love to do for so long. It became redundant. It became a daily routine. You forgot this was your purpose. You forgot this was your passion. You forgot you doing this made you feel so good. You kept doing it. See, that's what happens when we forget about the journey, when we forget about the growth, when we forget about the success and focus our mind on the pain and what has broken our hearts and hurt our feelings. Even though you have went through that, this time, this journey is teaching you and preparing you. What you went through will be a blessing to help many. See, God shows us why things are happening at the time that they are presented. Most times we're not ready to accept what has been presented to us. Oftentimes we don't understand it. Yes, my feelings are hurt, but why? Yes, I got treated like that, but why? Yes, I asked for a divorce, but why? So now I began to learn, I began to listen, I began to witness my growth. I began to pay attention to everything that I've been through because everything that I overcame is a blessing to help many. So when I repurposed my pain into my passion became a way to help others. What is your passion, Terrell? Terrell, what is your passion? Terrell with the Y, what is your passion? My passion is speaking. I've been speaking my whole entire life. I've been putting myself in uncomfortable positions my whole entire life. But mind you, I've been doing it every day, so it became redundant. It became repetitive. It became redundant. It became a daily routine. And see, once I understood where this came from, I said, oh, I had a gift, yet this gift has always been in me. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that subscribe button and really because we diving deep. This channel diving deep to help you become the best version of yourself. And if I'm hitting home on how your pain becomes your purpose, make sure you leave a comment on how it helped you feel better about yourself. Before I left to Texas this past weekend, I asked some of our apostles. When I was younger, he was my pastor. He's just been growing and developing and becoming more of himself. I've been growing and developing and becoming more of myself. So we're constantly growing. Doesn't stop growing. Don't matter how old you are, you never stop growing unless you have made a decision to stop learning. So then me and him got to talking, me and him got to conversing, me and him got to understanding. He made a statement that was so profound that I wasn't even expecting. He said, Terrell, I knew it was in you. But it just wasn't your time to understand that. It just wasn't your time to understand what I knew was inside you. So even though he knew and he understood and he saw and he felt, it was unfamiliar to me because one, I was so young, and two, I didn't understand. I didn't understand the gift that I had because I didn't understand my purpose. I didn't understand that my purpose because I didn't understand myself. I didn't understand myself because I haven't went through nothing. I haven't went through pain that forced me to learn who I was. See, when you go through pain, you forced to heal. Because if you don't heal, you're constantly going and experiencing what you tried to run away from. See, pain is just trauma. Pain is trauma. What does that even mean? Your trauma has been something that you have been experiencing your whole entire life, yet you never had a chance, an opportunity to even close the gap to accept and forgive yourself. See, pain is trauma because we don't want to accept the truth. Pain is trauma because we don't know ourselves. Pain is trauma because we have been running away from the pain for so long. Why am I saying this? We have to face ourselves. We have to face the person that we're becoming. We have to face the person that we are today in order to become the person that we think and believe that we can. I had to face myself. I had to face my abandonment issues. I had to face my heartbreak. I had to face my dad not being in my life. I had to face me learning how to be a man without a father figure in my life. And since my father figure wasn't in my life, should I not become a man? Should I not learn what a man is? Or should I take the step to be comfortable with asking the questions, not just any questions, but the hard questions that will force the answer that I've been looking for? And by forcing the answer that I've been looking for, somebody has to tell me something I already knew. I just needed to hear it in a different way, in a different version from someone else. Because I've been telling myself this whole entire time. Yet when somebody else said, there's confirmation. When somebody else said, I just needed to hear one more time to believe I can become more. I just needed to hear one more time to let me know that my pain was the end of the world. Your pain is the beginning to your growth, and your growth is the beginning to a unique identity. However, are you ready? Are you ready to achieve what you can believe you can become? And you only believe when you take your first step in healing, taking your first step in forgiving yourself. Preparation is dead if you don't understand what you're preparing for. Preparation is dead if you don't understand what you are preparing for. How are you supposed to know what you're preparing for? The for is your purpose. Your purpose is what blesses meanings. Your purpose is what blesses many. Yet if we can identify our purpose, we still going through pain. We still going through this hard time that we don't even recognize why it's even here. We don't understand because understanding is so unfamiliar. How do you understand your old ways when your new ways are not even here, are not even present? See, your old ways is something that forces you to become the person that you are today. I said this earlier, that you are not, that your success is created over time. The actions that you take today, the belief that you instill in today shows you, demonstrates how important your journey is. Your journey is so important because you have to understand the process that you are on. And it's only understandable when you're able to recognize the success that you can create for your life. What do you mean by that? Success is created after you heal from what has been bothering you your whole entire life. Success is creating your own meaning of happiness. See, happiness comes from growth, and growth comes from recognition. And recognition comes from you understanding that it's gonna be okay. I no longer ask myself, why did I have to go through that? I no longer ask myself, what did I do to deserve this? I no longer ask myself, why me? So earlier I made a statement, but didn't really dive into it about the difference between it happening to you and it happening for you. When it happened to you, when it happening to you, we're not taking responsibility of anything. We're not taking accountability for none of our actions. We're not accepting anything, nor have we forgave ourselves. So now when it happened to us, this is the victim mentality. Why did it happen to me? Why did I need to go through this? What did I do? And no longer that question, this statement happens to you. It's no longer it happens to you. It begins to grow into it happens for you. What does that even mean? When it's for you, you begin to forgive yourself. Notice for, then forgive, right? It's not a coincidence. You have to forgive yourself to recognize what's for you. You have to go through the pain in order to take it one step at a time to recognize it's for you. You have to learn how to take accountability for the person that you are today. Because when you recognize and accept the person that you are today, you recognize why it's for you. It's for you because you are making a decision to pursue a new version of yourself. You're making a decision to try. You're making a decision to put effort in it. You're making a decision to face the unknown. And as you're facing the unknown, your faith gets strengthened because you're no longer operating off of fear. And this teaches you that everything you go through, you're able to recognize how your pain became your purpose, because your purpose is something that you have overcame. And even if you dive in a little bit deeper, what you have overcame has always been in your life. How you help people, you have always been helping people. So how do we figure out how do we help and find our purpose? Easy. What have you been doing? History repeats itself. History repeats itself. Yet it's the lack of understanding that forces a new day. History repeats itself just because of the person that you are. History repeats itself because now we're understanding of why it's being repeated. Why it's being repeated. The way you help people is the way you help yourself. The way you help yourself is your purpose. See, we don't understand that our purpose is what forces us to heal. However, you can only heal when you go through that pain. When the pain has been started and it's been something that's been heavy on your heart, and it's heavy on your heart, you don't know how to handle it and don't control it. Growth is on the other side of pain. And by growth, I'm talking about your purpose. I'm talking about your purpose. I'm talking about what makes you you. It takes time. It takes time. You can't go through pain and have your pain ended the next day. However, on the other hand, what you can do is identify the pain, feel the pain, understand the pain, and begin to take one step at a time. Why? Because if you try to take 10 steps at once, that's when you become overwhelmed. That's when the anxiety kick in. That's when you are forced to really overthink everything that you have started because you're not taking it one step at a time. There's a process through this journey. History repeats itself because there's a process behind your journey. Your journey is what's going to bless not only just you, but the people that you will really want to help. However, before you help anybody, you have to help yourself. And if you really got value from this, leave a comment down below explaining how your pain is going to become your purpose. You might not feel it and understand it now. On the flip side, it's going to be such a blessing that you recognize what you can walk into. If you got value from this light talk, from this conversation, it's going to really empower you more. Click this video right here, and I'll see you there.